Monday, January 19th, 2026. And as usual, lots going on in the world. And we'll be talking about that here on Pod TV, seeing what things are taking place in the world and what people's reactions are to a number of these world events. Gold and silver prices hit a high after the tariff threat. So that is something that people are talking about in the news. The president has linked the Greenland push to the Nobel Peace Prize snub, officials are saying. And definitely the BBC is talking about Greenland and how Europe could respond to Trump's tariff threat. So definitely that's something that folks are talking about in the news and all along those lines. Um, like an earthquake, survivors describe a high speed train crash in Spain. So at least 39 are dead in a high speed train crash in Spain. And that catapulted passengers through windows, killing dozens. And that's what's going on in Spain, where I know that Nick is residing now, and all along those lines. And Trump Trump links Greenland threat, like I said, to the Nobel Peace Prize snub, and the EU is eyeing trade retaliation. Trump invites Putin to join Gaza Peace Board, Kremlin says. Trump wants the nations to pay $1 billion for a permanent Board of Peace seats. And EU executive arm, Russia and Thailand have been asked to join Trump's Board of Peace for Gaza. More countries confirm invites to Trump's Board of Peace for rebuilding Gaza. As Davos convenes, deference to Trump has replaced everything. So as Trump goes to Davos, the world faces a new reality. Trump looms large over the biggest ever World Economic Forum, and definitely we'll be seeing how his greetings and welcome is from other world leaders at Davos and all along those lines. China's birth rate plunges to its lowest level since 1949. China's birth rate hits a record low as population continues to shrink. China's birth rate shrinks to its lowest on record as policies are failing to lift births. So definitely, they're saying China's population falls again as birth rate drops 17% to that record low that I was talking about just then. Prince Harry versus the Daily Mail. The British privacy trial starts. So Prince Harry's court battle against the British tabloids reaches the final chapter. Prince Harry's court case against the Daily Mail publisher, and the folks are asking what to know about this particular legal case going on in London. As divisions over Greenland grow, Europe examines its options. And definitely, there was even an article in the New York Times talking about the gentleman who is the Secretary General of the Council of Europe. This is something I thought he'd never have to write, is what he said in that opinion piece, and all along those lines. And even The Economist is saying Trump's recklessness imperils Europe and the West. So we'll find out how folks are thinking about that as Trump's green push Europe toward divorcing America, is what Politico EU says. And hack disrupts Iranian state TV, airs Reza Pahlavi's statement. So Iran state TV hacked to show exiled Crown Prince Pahlavi. And hackers target Iran state TV satellite transmission to broadcast that exiled Crown Prince. And come help us, wildfires grip parts of Chile, killing at least 18. Actually, one figure was even said it could be as many as 19 amid extreme heat as scores are evacuated. And definitely the Chilean president has declared a state of catastrophe as those wildfires are going in that area and all along those lines. Canada's tariff cut just made this high-tech Chinese EV 50% cheaper. So Tesla poised to be the early winner as Canada opens the door to the Chinese-made EVs. So Canada's deal with China signals it is serious about a shift from the U.S. So we'll see how this plays out on the world stage as well. Iran is accused of killing 16,500 in a sweeping genocide crackdown, according to reports coming from Fox News and ABC News and other sources as well. So Iranian officials say verified deaths in Iran protests reach at least 5,000, according to Reuters. Center left wins Portugal presidential election first round, setting up a showdown. Portugal presidential election. Socialist Party's Seguro to face far-right leader in a runoff. So socialist and the far-right candidate are heading to presidential runoff in Portugal. And the Ukrainian drone strikes cuts power to hundreds of thousands in Russian controlled area. So Ukrainian drone strike leaves hundreds of thousands without power across a Russian controlled area. So Russian attack kills two as Ukrainian strikes trigger blackout in occupied South. So definitely there's a lot of blackouts on both sides of that particular war. German soldier leave Greenland after 44 hours, according to the Bild reports. And European troops arrive in Greenland as Trump throws another curveball, and all along those lines. And 7 police officers were killed in attacks in Guatemala after prison crackdown on gangs. Guatemala declares a state of emergency after 8 police officers were killed in prison gang violence. So definitely that is something that folks are talking about in that sense. And definitely a year into his return, Trump wields executive power with a few restraints, according to Reuters. In 1 year, Trump is shaking up everything. With what effect is what some folks are asking as well. So definitely people are trying to figure out what the total effect has been. And apparently Trump's latest Western Hemisphere fixation might be Canada, according to the NBC News. So how could Canada, EU, and NATO respond to the U.S. takeover of Greenland and all along those lines? So like I said, there's a lot going on in the world. Of course, today is the celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. as well. So that's something that people are thinking about. And some people are even off of work or off of their schools in celebration and all along those lines. And the Pentagon orders troops to prepare for possible Minnesota deployment. So definitely troops stand by to enter Minnesota. And Trump is, like I said, saying that he's going to have this board of peace. So we're going to find out what the board of peace is all about as well. But they're saying 1,500 soldiers are on standby for possible Minnesota deployment, according to sources, as the state mobilizes their National Guard. And FBI asked agents to voluntarily travel to Minneapolis. And definitely that's something that folks are asking about, as the FBI is asking agents to travel to Minneapolis for temporary assignments amid the protests, according to some sources in their area as well. And as I said, it is MLK Day. The current U.S. political climate is spurring a reclaim and rallying on the MLK holiday. So definitely that is something that folks are talking about, and there'll be actions. Actually, I got a call yesterday about a anti-ICE action that will be taking place not on MLK Day, but on tomorrow here in the North Carolina area. And I think it might even be statewide, but I've got to do and check with one of my news sources to find out if that is the case or if it's just in this region. Top Trump individual slams the Nobel Foundation for pointing out facts, according to the Daily Beast. And Trump looked kind of silly accepting the Nobel Prize from Machado, according to The Hill. But Machado insists Trump will convert Venezuela into a democracy. And in his new book, Governor Josh Shapiro recalls an offensive vetting process to be Kamala Harris's running mate. So Josh Shapiro writes that Harris' team asked if he had ever been an Israeli agent. Double agent for Israel, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro drops that bombshell about the Kamala Harris campaign, and definitely all along those lines. And of course, some people are thinking that he may be thinking about a presidential run coming up as well, but that is something that just recently came out. And Syrian government, Kurdish-led SDF, agree on a ceasefire. So deadly fighting breaks out after the SDF government ceasefire, and all in that space. And Florida snow, that's right, there's snow down there in Florida as snow hit Northwest Florida and Alabama coast for the second straight year. So a strong cold front brought snow to northern Florida. And a man detained in Minneapolis dies in ICE custody in Texas. So medical examiner likely to classify the death of the ICE detainee as a homicide, recorded call says, and all along those lines. So this was a Nicaraguan man arrested by ICE in Minnesota who died at Camp East Montana. And a prominent Catholic clerics are denouncing the U.S. foreign policy. So top Catholic cardinals say U.S. foreign policy raises moral questions. And they are urging the Trump administration to embrace a moral compass in foreign policy. and timeline on near blizzard conditions. So there may be near blizzard conditions coming in the parts of the United States and all along those lines. As a matter of fact, a weather alert has been issued for Monday into Tuesday morning in Metro Detroit. So bone chilling temperatures are expected in Michigan on Monday and Tuesday, and all in that space. Getting ready to get to my fellow panelists, see what they've got on their mind as the DOJ vows to press charges after activists disrupt a church where Minnesota ICE officials were at, and all along those lines. So the DOJ is investigating protests at a St. Paul church on Sunday morning as they are investigating the anti-ICE protest at that particular St. Paul church. And some people are even asking, what should churches do when protest enters the sanctuary? So I'm sure the whole separation of church and state conversation will be addressed as well in the next couple of coming days and months, and all in that space. And in historic first for Virginia, Adam Spanberger becomes the first gentleman. So Abigail Spanberger becomes Virginia's first female governor in a historic inauguration. So Virginia tradition calls for morning suits at an inauguration, but Spanberger switched things up and all along those lines. So like I said, going to get into my folks. I've got Rick Rosner with me. I've got Nick Palvedo with me, and I've got others with me as well. And we'll see what.
Okay, so the idea that there's massive unrest in Minnesota is horseshit. The temperature in Minnesota with wind chill is minus 27. Imagine nobody's rioting in minus 27 degree. Also, Minnesota forms a big chunk of the northern border. The farther you are away from the southern border, the fewer undocumented immigrants you have. Minnesota, 2.2% undocumented. Florida, 6.9%. They're just effing with Minnesota because they are politically liberal. Also, they got a ton of Somalis. Somalis are scary. You know, they're eating dogs, they're eating the cats. It's just a focus of bullshit. Nick, your neck of the woods had a horrible train wreck.
We're glad you're doing good, Nick. You're not on the
I wasn't on that train, but that was down in Andalusia, which is in the southern end of Spain, and 39 people so far that we know of have died. I've ridden on the Aves. The trains look safe. They're trying to investigate to see what happens because it was on a straightaway. And it got derailed, and then it hit another train. So, but that's what they're talking about here. The other thing they're talking about in Europe, in case you're not here, is the Greenland takeover. Your Trump has sent Europe into a frenzy. It's on all the stations. Is the EU response about Greenland and Trump and Greenland, and he's going to take Greenland, and we got to defend Greenland. Blah 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 blah. So that's big. The Martin Luther King holiday is not recognized in Spain, okay? Because we didn't have all the crazy things that you guys had that come to civil rights. So MLK Day, no, doesn't exist here. Our next holiday, national, is Good Friday, believe it or not. Now they have tons of observance, like Reconquista Day. They observe Reconquista Day and Carnival. So they have a lot, but I don't know. They don't show up as national holidays. The last one was the Epiphany. So if you get Spain, it's very Catholic.
Well, hold on a second, Nick. You said Carnival and everything, but Carnival is very big in other Spanish-run countries, or used to be Spanish-run countries, such as Brazil and everything like that, and they can get a little wild and everything along those lines. So I was just wondering, are you expecting a lot of wildness in Brazil? Because I know Carnival, in Spain, because I know Carnival in Brazil can get a little toasty, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, it's not it's what they call observance. I don't know what that means. I'm just looking it up.
So, Brazil,
as opposed to national holiday. The last national holiday was
the people of Brazil. They speak Portuguese and they have really good butts. So every holiday in Brazil is just an excuse to show off your butt.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I've got a question for Dr.
What's the holidays in Bangladesh?
Well, I had a question before we get to the holidays.
I don't know what the holidays are, Dr. Sharif.
Yeah, I want you to say about the holidays, but I got a more important question for you, Dr. Sharif. Dr. Sharif, Trump is putting together a board of peace. He's invited people like even Putin to be on the board of peace. Did you get a call from Trump to be on his board of peace? That's what I want to know. I want to know whether you got a call. You know that you're a man
Yeah,
of peace.
I'm about to share this news. Actually, this is the things Trump is doing right now, and from the Central Asias, I'm observing that the Central Asian leaders join in U.S. Board of Peace Initiative. Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan accept invitation to a diplomatic effort aimed at peace cooperations. But one important thing, this is very important for me, who will take decisions? And what is the contributions of these people of Gaza? What I'm seeing, there is a three layer. First layers like Trump, World Bank President, Vladimir Putin's, Kushner's, and all of the big names in the layer one. Layer two, I'm observing that different Middle East country like Qatar, like Saudi Arabia, and many leaders, even they are inviting from South Asia, India and Pakistan, not they inviting me from Bangladesh. So in this board, in the second layer, and the third layers, the Gaza people, they will go for this local ecosystem constructions and other things. This is the interesting political initiative. Hopefully it will be successful. But I want to see that how it will positively change the life of the Gaza, and how it create an impact. Even this is a very, very big complex issues. If Trump can solve these very complex issues, it will be definitely remarkable.
So
Yeah,
I
Rick?
think when you're invited to join this board, it's like joining a country club, that there's an initiation fee, and I think the fee is $1 billion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is important, and that is one of the factors. It create an impact, but definitely I want to see progress. Honestly speaking, I have some clear understanding, but Pot TV can be a good example for them, because Pot TV invite different cultural people, try to understand the depth of local ecosystem. Let's say recently, just today, I finished a successful meeting with JICA. So what's going on? I shared this Silk Route 3.0, this Himalaya, Ganga, Podda, and Bay of Bengal. So I propose, definitely with the help of, I invite different scholars from North America in my team, but I propose these things to Japan, and I'm getting a very positive response, because they said this is first time any intellectual, they go for real framework. So that is the things, even for this Gaza, I am very much concerned how the local community can contribute for this peace related work, or for this board. Most of the cases, Western world is knowledgeable, undoubtedly, they have money, undoubtedly, but most of the cases, understanding the culture, it has problem. And I will propose they should invite Nick Palveda through our network, because Nick has a very meaningful like podcast, meaningful contributions to understand the emerging economy. So that will be good opportunity for US government to invite Nick in the board. I
Hey,
propose.
Nick, you think you got $1 billion? I know you got $1 billion just laying around that you can join the board
Look,
with.
billion,
Yeah,
$1 billion.
I'm getting my book out right now. You know,
I think
I found it fascinating. It's only $1 billion, and
No.
I think I have $1 billion Brazilian dollars. It's worth. It cost me about 130 US dollars. So maybe I'll give them $1 billion Brazilian dollars. You know, because I did check the other day. I had like 10,000 Brazilian dollars, and then I checked to see what it was worth. It was worth 6 cents. So, you know,
Yeah,
I think getting
but
the billion is not a problem. It's really the currency. Which currency does he want? That's the real question.
Yeah, my proposal that
I get
they
the billion. The only question is what currency. That's the problem.
Trump administration go for two teams. One with this investment team. Definitely investment is very important. And second, definitely the technical team. Technical team who has real understanding about Gaza, who has real ability to understand the local culture and everything. Here I see a lot of resource misallocations from Western world through NGO around the world. through foundation, through all of the political initiative, and it's failed because of these two things. Number one, money is important, but money is not everything. Maybe Pot TV has better technical person, maybe Pot TV has better knowledge, maybe Pot TV has better understanding the economy. When you have a local understanding, best strategy, best portfolio, money will come. This is not a problem at all. But if you have money, but you do not have understanding of what is happening in Gaza, what is happening, how you can build good infrastructure and everything, that is the problem. So that is another misconcept that they said, hey, if you can be member and you have to pay $1 billion. This is another mismatch for grassroots level community development or any country development. That is my experience.
Hey, Nick, I got a question for you.
I might be able to get $1 billion of Bangladeshi taka together.
Get $1 billion of that,
I'm
and then you
just
can
checking
spend
out
that.
the exchange rate.
Hey,
So
I got a
we have
question for
one of
you
my-
and Rick really quickly, because I'd heard about this rumor, and like I said, it is a rumor. I don't know that it's been proven and everything, but there's this notion that RFK Jr. and Trump may be thinking about getting rid of the COVID vaccine and taking it off the shelves and everything like that. So I was wondering if you had heard anything about this rumor and if there's anything to this rumor, and is there a concern that you have if that was to be the case?
I'd be concerned. I get boosted before I travel. My wife and I came back from England. She wasn't boosted. She got COVID. Everybody on the frickin' plane was coughing, and she was tested positive for 16 days. It's still out there. We're in year 7 of COVID, and it's not like it's, the numbers drop, the number of people with COVID, but it's still there. It's never going away. And people who want to should be able to protect themselves against it. Every year we get a flu vaccine, especially if you're, in your 60s. Lately we've been getting RSV vaccines. So it's important to offer people the chance to protect themselves, even if idiots don't want to.
Yeah.
And someday Trump and RFK Jr. won't be in charge, and we'll start getting rationality back in the CDC and HHS.
Yep, that's the possibility and everything like that. Had you heard anything about that, Nick? Because I found that on a news source yesterday and everything, where they were talking about that they might want to get rid of the vaccine and take it off the shelves.
There is one thing that in the years since the original COVID vaccines came out, they have new vaccines that don't use the mRNA technology that's been idiots have drummed up a lot of fear around those vaccines. They have old school vaccines against COVID now that work the way that other vaccines work. I don't know if that'll make any difference. I don't know if RFK pulls the mRNA vaccines, if he'll leave the other newer old school vaccines on the market.
Yeah, well, the latest study that came out, that the COVID vaccine actually reduces your risk of cancer about 40%. So, the people that are anti-vaxxers don't understand the side effects are actually pretty good. I just went to pick up my shingles vaccine because it reduces the chance of dementia about 40%. And then there was something on the internet about they're trying to get rid of the hip vaccine, which kills a lot of kids or injures them severely. And one doctor, Dr. Cox, who I really like, there's a couple really good doctors. They're not members of PIC, and they're not stupid anti-vaxxers. But you could read through their material. These people are just really good. Dr. Cox and Dr. Fox are one of them. And they both said, you got a problem if you get these diseases that you can't cure them. In other words, it's better to be vaccinated and not get the disease than get the disease that cannot be cured. They think improperly that, well, I won't do the vaccine, but when I get the disease, I'll run to the doctor, they'll cure me. It doesn't work that way. It's very unfortunate. You don't get the vaccine, you're screwed. And that's the reality of it, unfortunately. We're trying to get that message across to a bunch of thickheads, but some of them won't do it. And that's the reason you're seeing people getting measles in the United States, getting diseases that they've never had. It's mainly because you have extremely poor leadership. It's called RFK, who has no business heading up human health and human
He
resources.
doesn't need to be heading up that department and everything like that. Hey, we've got Jacoby with us now and everything like that. I was going to ask Jacoby, since I've asked everybody else, except I haven't got around to asking Rick, but did you get that call to be on the Board of Peace, Jacoby? Because apparently there's a Board of Peace that includes Putin and other leaders as well. And we know that you are a leader here in the state, particularly in the Triangle and everything like that. So I didn't get the call, but I didn't know maybe if you got the call. My phone's been acting up, so maybe they were trying to reach me and they just couldn't reach me. But did you get that call from Trump to be on his Board of Peace for Gaza?
Nope.
So I just looked it up. They think it'll cost $70 billion to reconstruct Gaza, and so to join the Gaza Rebuilders Club, you got to kick in $1 billion. I'm sure, though, since it's a Trump enterprise, somebody will, if you kick in your $1 billion, you might, get some money back in the form of, like, this guy donated $6 million to Trump's political campaigns. Trump he's confiscated 6 oil tankers, each with more than $100 million worth of oil on them. And he's diverted them to Qatar, where this guy is, and that guy gets to be the broker to sell the oil, more than $500 million worth of oil. So that guy's $6 million campaign contribution to Trump will be repaid many times over via the cut he gets off of selling this oil, and nobody knows where the money's going.
What door? It's going in Trump's pocket. This is the same thing with the $1 billion peace stuff. They're going to send all the stuff to a Qatari bank account, and Trump controls it, so it's going to his pocket. It's corruption at its finest, because really they're selling off the land in Gaza because they're about to do ethnic cleansing in Gaza. This is the whole point.
It's completely transparent.
It's completely what?
Transparent and above board. I think you always have to
No, it's not above board. It's
completely
transparent.
above board.
Transparent corruption is still corruption.
It's completely legal, completely transparent, so it is what it is. He's trying to do good for the world, and he gets slammed by the left every time he tries to do something good. Unbelievable,
Is that what it is? Hey, Rick.
Yeah, it's all speculation on
Transparency.
No fact to back up any of the statements. Those are all speculation.
Well, speaking of speculation, I got another question for you, and that's actually for Rick and along those lines, because we know that we don't have. Well, we got this billionaire club. Apparently, it's a decent sized club because there's people that can afford to be on this Board of Peace. But in California, where you are, there is an initiative to raise and tax the ultra rich, and some people are saying that that's going to cause the billionaires to leave California, go to Nevada, go to other parts of the country, maybe even go overseas.
Yeah, it will. I mean, yeah, if a billionaire is faced with giving up 2% of his fortune, which would be $20 million, or moving 200 miles to Reno, Nevada, at least on paper, yeah, he'll frickin' move to save 20 million. Sure.
Well, not all of them will move. Apparently, the guy who heads up NVIDIA said he'll just stay and pay the tax.
Okay.
But it's unfortunate. Like Sergey Brin says he's going to leave. So what you do is you have some that will leave and some that will stay. It depends on how greedy they are. And remember, being a billionaire, you have one thing in common: you have to be greedy. There's no billionaire that's generous on this planet. They have one thing in common: they are greedy. They want lots of money, not just a little money, but lots of money, and they're addicted to it. It's like cocaine, except it's money, And you got a lot of them in California. So I don't know. Do we reward greed? Is that the thing? The U.S. system right now.
California.
I want to share something.
California. I don't know.
More will stay than will leave. because we all agree moving sucks. So more will stay than will actually leave. A lot
Yeah,
of
they'll
people
probably
use
just stay
that
the same.
threat as a way to bully politics, but more will stay than will leave.
Yeah, you know, and as a percentage of their net worth and their lifestyle, oddly enough, that's not going to affect them. I don't know if you guys know this, but in Spain, they have a wealth tax. In other words, they tax you actually on your net worth, and it's something that is bothersome. But I just look at it. Okay, if I got to pay it, I pay it. You know. But the thing
is it
is,
an annual
I'm shocked.
tax, like property tax?
Yeah, it's very similar to property tax. It's similar to what they do is they count your net worth. In other words, how much money do you have in the bank, real estate, all this other stuff, and then they impose a tax on it. You know, so it's kind of a unique tax. It probably would be good if the U.S. had something like that too, because right now all your garbage about all men are created equal is just a lie. It's absolutely not true. You don't have equality and fairness in the U.S. It's based on how much money you have. So this fairness and equality and it's all garbage over there. But over here, they try to cut down this. Gosh, I'm super wealthy and everybody else is screwed mentality you have in the United States. And one way to do it is a wealth tax. The other is a real property. When I made a purchase of property, they hit me up with a 10% upfront tax to buy the property. So, and I thought it was pretty expensive, but again, you know, the governments need to collect revenue. You know, and wealth tax in the U.S. would be actually a good thing. You guys are so greedy; it's just not funny. That's the reason people like living in Spain. Is that you can't even comprehend the greediness of the U.S. You have no idea.
Does Spain put the bill together? So England, the U.S., we have to do our own. We have to do the math on our taxes, which is also a pain in the ass. England, they tell you, here's how much you've earned. Here's how much you have to pay. Does Spain do the math for you with the wealth tax?
No. You actually you have to hire a CPA, and the CPA does it. I have a CPA and a tax attorney who calculates all that for me. But I'm just saying that from a policy standpoint, if you want to have a real egalitarian or level society, you guys really need to get your tax system in better shape, because right now you do not have that. You have, I know they have these King's March and they're always, it's Trump. They ain't Trump. You got like tons, you got 3 million super wealthy people in the United States, and they control the U.S. Yeah, and they got a lot of poor people. We went over that before. Half the population in the U.S. is broke. It's just
it's called legislative capture. If you have enough money, you can donate to politicians, and they will do what you want.
Yeah, they do. It's very sad, but it's my short time with on a government
Professor
pod
Nick,
TV, not pod TV, but another place.
Dr. Sharif has something he wants to add.
Can you share my framework? Like you can say it's a spiritual framework.
Oh, okay, right.
South Asian framework, or you can say it. Just recently, I published a book based on these things, and my World Talent Economic Forum institutions actually work in this way. If you want to understand the entrepreneurial journey of South Asia, let's say Tata, let's say United Group, let's say Square Group, let's say all of the big entrepreneurs, they are also very rich, very, very rich. And we have an ethical society. If you want to understand the South Asia, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, it's based on spirituality. And that is the things I'm promoting. Like when you discuss about artificial intelligence, I discuss about wisdom. So how this framework actually works. So if you understand the Indian economy, they run in one thing. It's called Karma Jok. In Muslim community, they call it Amole Sali. It's a good deed work for the betterment of the populations. You can see this Tata Trust. They are making billions and $billions, but most of the money they are investing for the betterment of their country through education, through healthcare, through housing development, through mankind development, through research, through innovation. So this is actually action aligned with moral duty and social responsibility. So it's based on intention. Let's say I take Nick Palveda, you are, let's say, a symbol of ethical society. What we are developing here is like a spiritual society. So what is your intention to sincere nia? Nia means taking this initiative in a positive way and ethical awareness. From there, we actually do two things. One is action, like good ethical practice. Let's say we go for developing hospital, we go for developing educations, we go for developing roads, bridge, culvert, housing, and from there we get the very positive impact. We get justice, compassion, collective well-being, and that is the framework of humanity. It's called universal ethical framework across faith. This is the secret sauce of World Talent Economic Forum. If you want to be super successful with your intentions, with your work, you can get a very super successful initiative. That is the things Western world can learn from our ethical society. Even though this Steve Jobs and all of the entrepreneurs also visit India, they learn meditations and all of the things. But this is one of the secret sauce you can find with this Tata Group. You can find with all of the billionaires. You can find in the intention of king, queen, and all of the things. And if Western world, that is the, I'm honestly speaking, when Jatovi discuss and excite, I can understand the pain. If American society with the knowledge, with money, with resources, they are best in this world. But honestly speaking, as I'm closely working with this society, if they can practice this framework, what we call Kormojog or Amole Sali, trust me, you can be the global leaders and you can be the real enthusiastic. In some point, when Nick Palveda discussed about greed, that is very, very important, which is missing in the Western world. And that is the things I'm doing with my World Talent Economic Forum. Just yesterday, I'm very happy to, because I find one of the boy in the street, he's working in a tea shop from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. and he go for dropout. So me and my wife meet with this boy. You can check it from my social media. I say, how much you make? They said, he said $4,000, 4,000 Bangladeshi taka, $30 from all of his hard work, from 30 days hard work. And then I request to this my communities. One of the famous professor, Ainul Zaria, and he come and he actually support my people, support this grassroots level people. He right the way he say, hey, I want to donate and I support these children. That is called unity. That is called ethical society. That is called beauty. That is called talent economy. That is my faith in between the 600 million peoples, in between this South Asia, from Himalaya, from Ganga, from Bay of Bengals. We have this ethical society, and if we can nurture this ethical society, we can get $1 trillion economy. That is one of the things I want to collaborate, and we can exchange knowledge and views and everything. That will be fantastic. Real peacekeeping missions for North America. Thank you. Thank you for your time and everything.
Yeah, no problem at all. Definitely. So that's something we got to do on a regular basis. Hey, Rick, I got a question to ask you, because I know you're into data and all along those lines. And apparently on Friday, last week and everything, a data journalist, not our data journalist, because we have Chris Greco that does a lot of that for us and others that do it as well. But G. Elliott Morris analyzed and compared last year's polls on Trump's first term, and he said that there is a backlash to Trump that has been more severe in his second term. So he said,
Trump himself has been more severe in his second term. Yeah, according to polls, tomorrow marks the end of his first year as president.
Yeah.
Polls say that 42% of Americans think his first year was a success. 58% think it was a failure. And yeah, he's failed at doing a lot of the stuff that he ran on.
Yeah.
And he's he didn't get the Epstein files released, even though they're in violation of the law in not releasing them. He has not gotten inflation below 2%. There have been almost no new jobs created since April. So the things that pissed off Americans a year ago haven't been rectified to any extent.
Yeah, because they're saying according to Morris, Republican identification dropped from 46% in 2024 to just 40% in Q4 of 2025, which is a 6-point decline. And they're saying that some people are making what they're calling an Irish exit, abandoning the Trump coalition quietly rather than continuing the task of being part of his team.
If you're a knucklehead who thinks that just America was going straight to hell under Biden and now we're on a path to greatness, then it's hard to change your mind. I look back at Nazi Germany, and after World War II, they made Nazism illegal. They made Nazi symbols illegal, but there were still many millions of Germans who remained. They were made crazy by Nazi propaganda, and they stayed Nazis until they got old and died. And
that comes down to our show that we tape now, I guess, once every 2 weeks and everything like that, what you do with your conservative friend and everything along those lines. Now, I have seen you concede points, and I have seen you have your mind changed on some topics, and all along those lines. I can't think of a topic that I've heard where Lance has actually changed his mind. So have you ever changed his mind on any topic?
Nothing. Lance's brain is broken. Whatever the Trump party line tells him is right, he will think is right. And yet Trump in the past couple of weeks has said two things that are good, which is one, big corporations shouldn't be allowed to buy thousands of single family homes and condos and apartments and turn them into, B&Bs or flip them or turn them into investment properties. There should be more opportunities for regular families to buy homes and not have them snapped up by these deep-pocketed investment corporations. That's good thing one. If he can do anything about that, that'd be great. Thing two is Trump said that credit card interest rates should be capped at 10%, which the credit card companies hate. But that would be a good thing, a cap on that. There's no reason, no justification to be charging people 22, 25% annual interest on their debt.
Yeah, that makes sense. So maybe what's that thing that Toby says? A broken clock can be wrong at least twice a day.
A busted clock is right twice a day.
Right, and all along those lines, and folks have quoted that. I know you have. I think Toby has as well. I was reading Salon. Now, given Salon is a liberal publication, and all along those lines, it is very liberal. But this is a funny quote that was the lead of the article. It was actually talking about the exodus of Trump voters and everything from Amanda Marcotte and all. I think you'll enjoy this lead quote and everything. So I'm actually going to read it because it's actually somewhat funny, even though it's kind of the opposite of the eating cats and dogs routine, because they wrote, a decade into our collective Donald Trump nightmare, most of the reality-based population has given up on hope on hoping MAGA voters will wake up and see the light. We've come to realize that he could eat a live kitten on TV, and they are unwilling to admit his critics were right all along. They would argue that the kitten was Antifa, and liberals are the ones who are stupid for not seeing the threat the kitten posed to our safety. And they said that they predicted this miserable state of affairs back in 2017. And as one that is a lover of animals, I can't see a kitten being Antifa, but apparently that's what this writer thought was a good lead into the story. So what do you think about this notion of kittens being Antifa?
Well, it's a certain percentage, maybe up to 20% of adult Americans have had their brains pickled by propaganda, and they will never get unpickled. If you're in your 60s and you're strongly MAGA, even after Trump's gone, you'll enter your 70s. And if you're lucky, your 80s and 90s, and you will remain MAGA. You'll keep watching Fox News, and you'll keep believing the bullshit.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on and everything like that. Jacoby, you've been quiet there for a while. What are you finding in the world? I know today is MLK Day, so a lot of people are celebrating that great man and his legacy and all along those lines. But what else are you finding in the world today? We do have football news because we've now got championship teams. And I know my brother's upset because the Bears didn't win and everything like that, but it will be the LA Rams, which I guess Rick is glad about going against Seattle.
I kind of was pulling for the Bears because my son-in-law over in England likes the Bears, and he has to get up at like midnight to watch the games and stay up till 3 a.m. And so, yeah, I felt bad for him that they made it with a crazy play right at the end of regulation into overtime, but then they lost.
And they lost in overtime and everything like that. So that's what's going on there. And we've got the championship game. I know that Jacoby has said that tonight we can look for Indiana to win the title and not the University of Miami, much to Nick's chagrin and everything like that. So what's your take on some of these sports things that are going on today and anything you've got to say about MLK, Jacoby?
Oh, I'm sitting here focused on making some ads for the convention because, trying to get all this stuff done, as Dr. Sharif can attest to, putting this stuff together is a beast. But yeah, I mean,
tell us about the convention.
I mean, the convention is going to be April 21st, 22nd. It's dealing with its focus is trying to make sure that the creatives in society still have a place, because AI is on the way and AI is here. And so the convention is focused on trying to help individuals navigate the new AI world that's here and that is coming. So the idea is to bring together, we've got a lady who has a flying car, and we're going to work on, ways to teach people how not only to fly the flying car, but also we're going to gamify the situation so people understand how to build it, how it's developed. We have Epic Games. I can officially say that now without being sued, but we have the Epic Games Learning Lab. So we have people from Epic that are going to come and teach people how to code, how to do understand the Unreal Engine and Fortnite and all the other things. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff that's going to happen with this convention that's going to hopefully teach individuals how to navigate the world that we have now, which is that AI world, and hopefully make sure that people understand that the creatives, the programmers, the coders are still important in that future going forward, rather than what's happening where a lot of companies are seeing it's cheap labor, it's easy to use AI, I can make money off of AI, and continually pushing money into that bubble. It's not a thing against AI, because AI is here and it's our future, but we've got to be able to understand how to work with that future, because we can't be left out of that future. So that's what the convention's all about, is basically navigating the new world.
And if you own AI, you own how people think, because AI can be used to bombard people with propaganda, both positive and negative. Musk owns Twitter, which is still it's horrible now as X, but it's still a megaphone that amplifies all sorts of terrible beliefs, because Musk has been thoroughly red-pilled, and he's a white nationalist now, which is a nice way of saying he's gone full racist, and he's turned X into if you want to have a racist message, you can go on X, and it's very hard to get kicked off of X for saying horrible crap. But if there were some other billionaire 10 years from now who came out with a line of robot girlfriends who wouldn't give you a hand job unless you listen to them talk to you for half an hour about, liberal issues, that's the way to save the world, is robot hand jobs.
So the robots and everything like that. Hey, Jacoby, just really quickly, because I know that Sherry Holmes yesterday, who is a local theater advocate, did a theater presentation and all along those lines. And just like Rick is in the TV world and everything, I'm thinking that because you said your part of the focus will be on the creatives, is how is AI going to impact the theater world, or is it already impacting the the theater world and everything like that? Because I don't know that she had any AI presentations. I'm sure there's some plays about AI and all along those lines, but I know that she was doing, like she usually does, her showcase of Black theater and everything along the, well, I think it's all Black theater, but it might be other theater as well. But I'm just wondering, how is AI going to impact the theater world?
I mean, it's going to impact everything. It really is. And again, it's not a negative against AI. It's just, again, it's here. You already have, I mean, you want to talk about theater? Well, there was a movie star that was a AI character.
Yeah, AI at the very least is a sounding board, and it's like spray paint compared to taking a paintbrush. You know, that if you're working on a creative project and you want to quickly paint over some of the gaps, you go to AI and you say, give me 10 ideas for you know, what somebody who's being blackmailed how they might respond. And it gives you 10 ideas, and you're like, yeah, I like idea number 7. You develop that. You bounce ideas off of AI. AI does a lot of, you know, low-level thinking for you, and you know, maybe some middle-level thinking. You know, if you're
the thing with AI, that's why I forgot what's his name right now. The actor, he just took out litigation to protect his name,
Right.
image, and likeness, because AI can take.
I think it was it McConaughey?
Yeah, it was Matthew McConaughey who did that. But AI is coming. AI is going to take those jobs. AI is going to take. I mean, we keep talking about the low-level jobs, but the thing with AI is its evolution. And we forget that it's evolving. Just last year, we were talking about how it looks realistic. Well, yeah, it does. And just 2 years ago, it didn't. So if you're looking at it doesn't look realistic, 365 days, it looks realistic. What do you think it's going to look like this year? It's evolving quickly. And we have this old mindset. We're looking at things of, well, the horse and buggy style mindset, where the horse and buggy, it took a little while for people to get off of that to get the cars. Well, okay, well, you're looking at, you know, that 60 some odd year span where the evolution of cars grew, the 40, 50 year span of how the evolution of airplanes grew and became commercial flights. No, AI is growing at a faster rate than anything. It's programming itself. I mean, we just need to understand and begin to truly navigate our society and learn that AI is here. And because it's here, it's 20 days from now, ChatGPT. I mean, they're advertising using ChatGPT. They weren't doing that last year, even though this whole ChatGPT hasn't been out for that long.
Yeah.
So here's how it might work.
Just really quick,
how it might work.
Do you think that we'll ever see? Because Broadway is a major part of the theater world. I mean, there are other broad theater worlds as well. But do you ever think that we will see, Jacoby or Rick, an AI play and everything like that? So
yes,
AI
whether you know it or not. Let me talk about how it might work. Say Liam Neeson's agent lets it be known Liam Neeson has a 6-week window. He wants to do a project. He's lowering his rate. He'll give you 6 weeks for $2 million. And like, does anybody have a screenplay ready for Liam Neeson? Well, freaking maybe some movie company, a bunch of dentists have gotten together with their money they made from doing teeth. They have $30 million. They say, yeah, let's hire Liam Neeson. We need a screenplay. They go to AI. They go, give us a Liam Neeson screenplay. They get it. They hire a writer who does a little tweaking, you know, and boom, you've got a Liam Neeson movie, low budget, 6 weeks, AI written screenplay, but a writer kind of stands in front of the AI. And you've got nobody cares really what Liam Neeson says in a movie.
But that's a movie, and the movie is a form of theater and technology, but I was talking about an actual stage play.
Well,
We're
same
actually-
thing. We
May-
Broadway. You've got
Just 1 minute.
yeah.
go.
I just check AI intellectual ability because Jatovi, my good friend, and Rick has very good confidence on AI. I just give him a task. You can check even like there is a famous sweet, like Bangladeshi people are very good at sweet making. So my country, my place where I born is called Rajbari. There is a famous thing. It's called chom chom. It's a sweet. How to prepare these things? It's horrible. AI give all of the wrong informations about that. So
Right.
reality is that again, what we train AI can deliver. What they do not understand or we do not provide enough information, AI still cannot. Human wisdom, like Rick, like Markley, like Jatovi, still needed. Do not jump on, I'm just requesting my audience, do not jump on all of the advice of ChatGPT. You may lose your all of your positions. I'm sorry about that, but this is the test. I can share, you can check. I give all of the wrong information for doing these things. It's not the fact. Fact is that AI is good. It's make our time efficient and effective. But if you want ethical, scientific information, we need human touch. Human touch, very important. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, but people will also cheat using AI. So you were talking about the stage. Say now there are a bunch of Broadway theaters and they're usually occupied, but then like a play quits making money, they close down the play. So you get told, hey, we have a slot for a new play. And you go to your writer and you're like, we've got this slot. Are you ready? And the writer's like, no, I'm only 1/3 through this play. And you tell them, come on, just like use your little helper. The helper is like helps the AI helps the writer get done with the play in time to take advantage of the available slot. You've got a play that was 30% written by AI. It can happen. It does stuff like this can happen. Is it a disaster for the world? No. Some other stuff in the future might be disastrous for the world, but one play where some of the dialogue is, it's a new thing. We have to deal with it.
So again, all things can be, all these things can be true at once. Yes, AI does give bad information. It's not there yet, but AI is plugging in the information that it's given.
Right.
Guess who's plugging in all that information? Because guess who's advertising about AI? When it gets more information, what's it doing? Creating better models, and it's improving its output. So yes, AI is going to constantly improve. AI is going to get better at screenwriting. Just because it's not writing now doesn't mean that it's not going to write tomorrow. Because right now there are people that are utilizing to make music, to write screenplays, to do all these things. And for you, Mark, yes, we are going to get to a point where AI is doing all the stuff on the theater. Because right now, if you look at the technology around, the TVs to all the digital technology, they've already done the virtual people on stages.
Right.
So you can take out those actual real people, have this video technology, and do this 3D rendering of people on an actual stage and do that screenplay. That's not here yet, correct? But think about it again. Right now, who's marketing to put more information into AI? Because the models are doing a great job. Because you can go to Sora, you can go to was it Geo? I think is Google's. You can go to all of them and create a realistic image of people doing something. But think about it. What it creates today is the worst it's ever going to be moving forward, because the more you put into it, the better the model and the algorithm gets. This is evolution. When you have 300 million people plugging in images into an actual computer model, and these data centers crunching all that data, it's just going to get better. So all this stuff is coming.
I understand what you're saying, Toby. We're getting ready to wrap up and everything, and I did see you had your hand up, so I'll let you get to your point as well, Rick, and then we can go to the economic show. But the thing that I know is that even at the cultural center I work at, we're exploring the notion of augmented reality on some of the history talks and all along those lines. But to Dr. Cherie's point, I'm hoping it will still keep some of the human element, because some of the human element is actually what is needed in order to get that true, authentic story and all along
And
those
that's what my convention is all about. That is it. Because AI is here. How do you navigate it? How
Right.
do we keep that human element? How do we move forward and make businesses that can use AI, sure, but use the human element? How do we have there's Aniplex, which is one of the largest anime outlets out there, has already stated that they're going to focus on using human voices, human artists, and stuff like that. How can you find those companies? That's what my convention is.
Right.
And-
So I watched the Golden Globes, and some people said it was pretty lame. I thought there were a lot of good jokes in it. So for basis of comparison, and the way you get good jokes onto TV is you have a team of writers. You're the host. You work with the writers. You write a bunch of jokes yourself. Your writers write hundreds of jokes. You go through 1,000 jokes. You pick the best 20. Then I looked at the Critics' Choice Awards opening monologue for basis of comparison. It was a lot crappier. They hadn't done that work. And so if I wanted to host an award show, which I wouldn't because I'm a shitty host, but say I wanted to do my best possible job, I hire a bunch of writers. Together we write 500 jokes, but we also have a couple AI jockeys over in the corner, and they punch all the topics into AI. AI writes 500 jokes. Most of them are crappy because it's still early days. But the AI jockeys, they pick out the best 100 jokes from AI. They throw it to the writer's room and say, can you make any of these jokes good enough to be on TV? And then, so it gives you another source to work from. And it helps you. If you call it cheating, okay. If it's just helping, call it what you want. But that is what's happening.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, on that note, we're going to get on out of here. I know, like I said earlier, today is MLK Day, but it's also a day, as oftentimes is on the holidays, just like Christmas and other holidays out there, where it's become a sports day. I think they're like, Jacoby can correct me, I think there's 4 or 5 NBA games that are being played today, and I'm sure that Dr. King, when he was living, would be concerned about how many people are in ownership and management and all along those lines. But we know that the majority of the athletes are African American, but he'd probably be concerned about the ownership and management angle as well. But there'll be a lot of folks that'll be watching the games, because it is, as many holidays are, a chance to catch a lot of good games, and there are a number of contending teams that'll be playing this evening as part of that celebration of the holiday. So some people will be out there doing community service, some people will be out there doing various forms of protests, and some people will be at home watching the basketball games on this particular holiday, and all along those lines. So we're going to get out of here on that thought, and then we'll get out of here and have the economics show as well. But I think that you would agree with me, Jacoby, that Dr. King would probably be concerned about management and ownership, and whether we're making enough advances in those categories in sports.
Yeah, I mean, he was big on equality amongst all, especially around labor. I mean, that's what his main focus was. It wasn't on race, but people tend to forget that.
But I would bet he would laugh at some of the situations that have, in the 50 years, 60 years since he's been around, if you briefed him on what's going on, you don't hear much about him laughing, but he would look at the situations where you have athletes getting paid $50 million a year, but the owners are earning, $800 million or $1 billion a year. You'd be like, yeah, well, that's, he'd shake his head and he'd just have to laugh.
He'd probably be laughing, but if those that have read his book, From Community to Chaos, would say he'd also, because even one of our shows mentioned this last Tuesday, he'd probably also be a little bit scared that we haven't come further than we probably should have come in those years since he was around, because he would definitely be concerned that some of the rights have been taken away and are going in the opposite direction, and that we have not accomplished some of the goals that he had laid out, whether it was around labor, whether it was around housing, whether it was around a number of other things that we talk about here on this network regularly.
And also, I want to make sure that that some understand this, because I've seen it out there already. Just because the race part was not his focus and it was all labor equality, race was still important to him. So for those in MAGA who already state that he would be MAGA or he would vote Trump, no, he would not. He would be adamantly against Trump. Anyone who's flying the Confederate battle flag, he's not marching with them. That's not happening. All the stuff that Trump has put out against Muslims, against any minority out there, he is not with that. So MLK would not be for Trump because of the things that Trump has proposed, the people that Trump has put around him, and the people who sit there and march with the Confederate battle flag. That wouldn't happen. So MLK would not be in MAGA or for Trump.
Yeah, he might have some choice words for the arc of the moral universe. He had the saying that it bends towards justice. But looking at what's been going on lately, he might say, "Come on, arc, let's get to bending."
Get to bending to that moral justice and everything like that. So we're going to get out of here. I know that they're doing economics. I think that's why Nick disappeared, and Sharif may be over there as well. And then we've got media, and I think we've got timeshares coming up as well. So a lot of great shows coming up, but let's get on out of here.